Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode of my journey in chess. This is episode 26, and in this game, I found something very interesting and probably noteworthy to learn from, as I struggled with that concept in my early journey, and I thought I want to bring it to you and reflect together upon it. So, for a quick recap, we I play I document my chess journey, but because I play classical chess at a lower level for the moment, I I cannot show it to you on a video on with live commentary because let's be honest, that would be pretty boring. So I decided that to make it more interesting and um, to manage the time better, um, a after recording with an analysis is the way to go. So I think I have nothing else to say, and let's get into the game. So before we start, we are currently 1564. This game was not the last I've played. I've played, um, I think yes, at least one more today. And this was from yesterday, but yesterday I I had a mess up with the video upload, and I wanted to only upload one chess video a day because it's not um gonna do much if I upload more at the moment. So with having said that, let's get into it. So we got white, as we can see. You can see it barely there. And we started with d4. Our opponent answered with d5. And for the time being, I still need to practice d5 openings. Um, I am quite more familiar with the excuse me not. Um, I am quite more familiar with the knight of six ideas and going into the Indian games, and therefore d5 is actually the least known um, opening choice by black for me as of for now on the mainline stuff. So we respond to d5 with c4, which is the Queen's Gambit, like the Netflix show. Here, my opponent actually went with e6. I thought he had gone already knight f6, move 2, which, you know, I prefer to face. So here I took a, you know, slower approach. I didn't just take on d5 with my c pawn, so I developed my g knight to the f3 square. And here I was thinking, if we can get a Catalan, this would be amazing for me. I want to train this opening because it's a very interesting opening, even more in classical chess. So my opponent decided to answer with a knight c6, and knight c6 is not a mistake per se, because you're not really blundering anything, but you're blocking your c pawn. And the c pawn is in this structure where your black squared bishop is already open. Very a useful weapon. Essentially, um, as an explanation, if you play e4, you may know it very well. Every move counts, every tempo counts. Therefore, if your move like knight c6 doesn't really do anything, which it doesn't, it attacks a pawn, which is double protected. Okay, it looks at the square, but what does it want to do there? The bishop going here can just be blocked multiple ways, and there's no threat there. So this is essentially a wasted move twofolds, because now you're blocking your c pawn, and my life is good. Like our lives, playing this setup with white is very, very formidable. I really like it. So here I decided to, as I said, take a slower approach, because we're playing classical after all. I have the time, so I want to practice it, even if um, it's maybe not the most, you know, aggressive way. I don't care. I want to play it. So we went with g3, and this goes into a fianchetto slash Catalan style. It's not the Catalan because there is no knight on f6, but you know, it's different, but you get the idea. It's a fianchetto structure. And you are essentially saying, you can take my pawn. So my opponent goes with g6. Which got me wondering, what exactly is his plan? I wasn't really sure if he even had a plan, and this isn't meant to be rude, but at the first glance, it even may look as it makes sense. Later on, we can go into the analysis, because you have your pawns on light squares, and your bishop has this nice long square, but you're gonna see that, well, yeah. Anyways, I felt as if this was not optimal for black. A little bit too slow, even for this, because white is already going to castle within 2 moves, and black has to spend one more. And here we go with takes. That's why I thought this was a rather questionable move by black, because now we can trade our c for his e pawn. And it's not forced, but I take the tempo if he wants to take with the queen to preserve his e pawn, so I can bring out my knight for free, essentially. Um, yeah, so we do that. We develop our bishop to his square we want him to be. Also, I tried something new with my hair, and I was like kind of courageous today, messing around with it, and like um trying out something new. We guys, we as mans, we don't have the luxury of boosting our physical appearance with with artificial stuff like makeup. So our hair. As I saw a video um uh, 2 days ago, which said that the hair of a man is just like his makeup. Anyways, a little fun side note. I thought so. We went bishop g2 here, and my opponent just did the bishop g6. Um, yeah, nothing special here. Um, as I said, there is no threat, there's no tactic, double protected. I have no rush. I castle. Now, later, um, let's see here. Computer would have liked uh, bishop f4 here to really, really hammer down this e5 square, which, you know, you're gonna see. Um, yeah, so we did this. I didn't, I just wanted to show something. It wasn't meant to be. This here was the game I played today, which was a draw as Sicilian. This is gonna be eventually tomorrow's video. Depends um on if I get tomorrow a better video. As you can see, he stalemated himself. Um, I blundered a endgame draw by one move, which constant consisted of pushing this pawn here on the h6 square. Like, it wasn't like necessary to push this pawn. So I had to bring my king closer to the edge where his king was to block off this queen was once a pawn on the a file. So I blundered a easy draw and drawn at the end game to just get stalemated. um, I mean, you know, I know how it feels to stalemate in winning game. It's pretty annoying, not gonna lie. So you're oh, you're into this game, and here we castle. Computer wants to. No, it's not here. Excuse me. I got off road. I'm still a newbie to this. So he went bishop g7, and we castle. He he went. I saw his position, and I smelled that this move is gonna come, and it makes much sense in a way, but in some way also it doesn't. So he brings his knight to the e7 square. And why does it make sense and also doesn't make sense? So he just blocked his c pawn. His c pawn cannot move. He went to the e7 square, so his bishop can be open um, the whole time. At the same time, three. At the same time, he's blocking his queen from a rather useful diagonal. You know, that's how the queen can mainly interact with the king side if needed. Um, so we pinned the knight. There's nowhere to go for the queen, you know. Um, if he wants to move, then so be it. My plan here was to pin this knight and develop uh, develop my my c knight attacking his pawn. Also, eventually bringing the queen over here, or thinking about to go knight to e5. Because I was, if so, this was my idea. If my opponent doesn't kick out my bishop, I bring my queen here, and there will be quite pressure on the king side. I can build up pressure there. If he doesn't do the a6 move to kick out my bishop. If he does it, I'm gonna bring out my bishop back here, and then, you know, with the c knight, conduct a attack on the queen side. So my opponent does kick the bishop out, but I with the wrong pawn. Like, you almost never want to move your f pawn if it's not like a part of an attack like in the King's Engine, you know? So I was here, okay, dude. I'm gonna go here. And I was looking at this move. So his castle. I went knight c3, nothing is preventing me. There's no threat still. And now my opponent does the move I was looking at. And that's g5. And already, this is not a very good position. Like, I was thinking, well, I can bring back my bishop and try to chop off the king side. Or just go for the queen side, trade everything, and in an endgame we should have an advantage. After a really, really, really hard thinker, I looked almost at everything, and this is where this game is actually valuable to learn from. Until now, this was just the opening. Now we are moving into the middle game. Okay, almost every piece is developed. Now, I was anticipating, well, I can go back and, you know, play what I know is good, or I'll be a madman. I'll be a madman because there was only one move for black to be really solid. Only one. I traded off my knight for 2 points, so I'm down 1 point of material. End games are winning for black, but you have to know the perfect move here. And I was looking at rook here, kicking out the bishop. Uh, what if one move I didn't look at? And it was this move. Now we are gonna bring in the computer. So I already looked at it. Would be the right move. obviously. Um, Black has weakened his king side without real compensation. Just bring back the piece. We sacrificed, and computers obviously computer knows all the top moves, and it's like, yeah, you have no chance. I'm gonna defend, and you know, if you see it like that, this becomes like if I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not looked at this move. I have really underestimated this move because I was banking on attacking this pawn. Trade off pieces and attack the d pawn. But then my opponent, for some reason, thought that it was a good idea to take my d pawn. And I think yeah, you have to find those computer moves. So I'm gonna give you the quintessence at the end. If you, as a um, as a how do I put it, as a reward to make it through with me. So my opponent takes on d4, we take back, and here he didn't, and this was, uh, you know, I didn't look at this. I was like, I'm gonna go like that, and this should be good for white because we can um hmm, we can take here, and then he's pinned again. Then we bring the rook, and we have an attack going. But now my opponent is like, this move was 2 moves ago the best move, or 3 moves ago, and now it's just a piece that's hanging. Or, yeah, at the end it's a piece. Yeah. So we trade everything off. And he went for an adventurous move to for counterattack my pawns. And I was like, I'm gonna bring my forces into the battle. We are gonna ram in. And rightfully so, right? I want to now checkmate him. Now it's the moment. Um, he now decides he goes back with the queen to defend his king. I trade queens, bring a chop of the rooks, and now it's just a huge, huge exchange, and in the end, white is just ahead in tremendous material. So the takeaway from this game. So, okay, explanation. I struggled a lot with such aggressive sacrifices in my early journey. because the fried liver. Um, Bishop c4, attacking the f pawn, and knight f3 gives this famous combo. The e pawn is open, the diagonal from the d squares for the queen is open also. As a beginner, very annoying. And what I struggled with is defending. You like as the aggressor, you have all the you are driving, okay? You are driving as the aggressor. And defending is what makes a how do I put it? Defending is I find very harder than attacking because to some more often than not, um, the right defending moves are very abstract and they look very ugly because they involve the pieces to fall back. As for if you attack, you want to go forward, which is very natural most of the time, not all of the time. So the takeaway here is if your opponent sacrifices very aggressively and you feel like it's a sacrifice and my position, like my king is weakened, but you know he cannot checkmate me, force checkmate me in one or two moves. I'm gonna play rock solid, like here, rock solid. I have not seen this move. This is top notch. This is by far the best move. No counterplay for white here. It's just I think from here on, once this bishop defends the d pawn, it's about this d pawn, right? Black is just rock solid. There is nothing really going on for white after the sacrifice. Every endgame is just losing. You have no, you know, huge unfolding attack on the queen side, or so on, or, or in the center. Um, so I did miss that move. This is why I went for it. I used up, I think, 10 minutes. I was calculating. And I was like, I know, I know that it can't be bad in this exact position to go for a slow approach because we went already with young Kelto, just slow approach. But it's not about the aggressor, it's about the defender. If your opponent is being very aggressive and you feel like it's improper, like it's not leading into forced mate in a few moves, then play rock solid. Don't try to go for to force an attack. You know, don't try it because now you are opening up yourself for even more attacks. And matter of fact, white has more development right now. This bishop is not in has not left his square. This knight cannot play right now. This knight is being under fire and in this exact position. So yeah, takeaway: be solid when your opponent is going for a very aggressive um, sacrifice. Sometimes you are on the giving end, sometimes you are on the receiving end. To like in this game, I was on the giving end of the aggression. I was the aggressor. I never do this. Actually, this is so. I was very, very. um, I was very excited to be that courageous and to go for that sacrifice and yeah. It's hard to defend because you have to find the perfect moves. Yeah, so that's how it is sometimes. I hope you learned something, and I hope you got something useful out of it. I wish you the best of your day and take care of yourself. If you feel good, you're gonna look good. Peace. Have a good time. Bye bye.